Hello guys, thank you for making it up to this point of the tutorial series. So this video tutorial, it's like a follow-up. It's a follow-up tutorial for the input and output modes that we did on the previous tutorial. You can check it up there if you haven't checked it up, if you haven't gone through the input and output mode. So to this one, I'm going to go through examples with code, with devices, to see how we apply input and output modes on in the Arduino ecosystem. Okay, all right, let's get to it. So yeah, so what's happening is that you remember I talked about Walkway. If you haven't, it's an online simulator where you can run the Arduino in there and then test about there are a bunch of sensors there and all that stuff. So let me show you how it works. So you go there, sign up, and blah blah blah, you're all done. Okay, so in this tutorial, let's start with input mode. Okay, because last time we did like blinking LEDs, which is like probably output. So let's see how input mode looks like. If you remember, we said that input is where the signal is coming from the peripheral towards the Arduino. Okay, so yeah, let's get to it. So an example of an input device that we can use is a button. Okay, so let's try this out. Okay, one sec. Create a new project here. So okay, that's how you do that's how you click here, new project, select there are a bunch of microcontrollers that you can play around with. So let's do Arduino Uno. Okay, so you see nice, so pretty good graphics, I must say. So let's connect a button to this and then demonstrate. So this way you can select the color of the button and all that stuff. So let's select the button and demonstrate the input mode, how the input mode works. Okay, so to connect a button, this is how you do it. Okay, let me show you. Okay, you click here. You don't need to drag the wires, by the way. Just click it, and then when you move the mouse, it's going to draw the wires. Then let's put it on pin 2. Okay, so ask yourself, on the Arduino program, we have two functions, setup and loop. Okay, so in the setup function, ask yourself this question: how many devices do we have connected to the Arduino? Right, so we have one currently, and Arduino doesn't know about it yet, so we have to configure it so that Arduino knows about the device that's been plugged onto it. Okay, so this device is a button. So remember the function pin mode. Okay, and then it's connected to which pin? Pin 2. Okay, so we specify pin 2, and then because it's a button, it's an input, we set it as input. Okay, yes, pin mode pin 2, then we set it as input because this is an input device. Okay, we are expecting to, when we press it, it sends the signal back to the Arduino. So what here, we're going to read what's coming from the button through pin 2. Okay, so to do that, we're gonna call a function called digital read. So it's reading a signal coming from the button. So which pin is it reading? Pin 2. Okay, like that. And then we have, so whatever is being read needs to be stored in a variable. So let's call this signal, variable signal. So it's coming from this function into this. Okay, so what do we do when the button has been pressed? What do we do? So we can do an if statement here. Don't worry if you don't understand what an if statement is, I'll cover it up later. So if a signal is equals to 1, let's print out on the serial monitor. These are all the things that I'm gonna have to explain. If you've done programming before, you know what all this means. So this is serial print. Let's type button has been pressed when the button has been pressed. Okay, let's do a demo. Oh yeah, and then on the serial we have to do another thing called serial dot begin, and then you set the baud rate. Don't worry about this if you don't understand, I'll explain later. So this is just a demo of what an input mode means. Okay, so if you do run simulation, all right, there's an error. I see where is it, where it is. Okay, let's run it again. Yeah, it's okay now. So if I press the button, you see it's printing that. If I press it, it's printing, though it's not that stable. There's to use buttons, there are a bunch of other things that you need to, but this is just a demonstration of how input and output works. So if you press it, it's going to print out there button has been pressed, right? Yeah. All right, let's do another let's do another device and test the input status and all that stuff, right? Great. So the next device that we're gonna use is a potentiometer. If you don't know what a potentiometer is, you probably know. It's just the name that's a bit confusing. It's just like a volume knob, you know. So on the potentiometer we have G and D. Okay, connection. Don't worry about the connections right now. We'll cover all this in later tutorials. Okay, don't worry about this. I'm just gonna show you how input devices send data to the Arduino. Okay, yes. So the signal is coming from the potentiometer through the signal pin, and the signal pin is connected to pin A0. Okay, so this is an analog device, it's not a digital device. That's why we connect it on A0. Okay, yeah. So to do all this, because it's pin A0, we set it as input. Okay, because it's an analog device, it's literally a knob. Okay, we do analog read. Okay, but then we are reading from pin A0, right? Okay, then let's print out what's coming from that pin. Print line signal. Okay, so let's run it up. Yeah, see, right now it's printing 0. So if I increase the knob, you see that it's like a volume. If I increase the volume right now, let's assume this is a volume key. So assume we are at volume 163, you know, 258, we go until 1023. Okay, so that's an analog device. That's how you can, this is an input device. So the signal is coming from this into the Arduino. All right, yeah. With the LED, we are controlling, the signal is coming from the microcontroller going outwards. All right, yes. So it's just that simple. So right now I know you have the idea of input and output device. So when you have like sensors, you know how you're dealing with all this stuff, right? Yeah. Last but not least, we can do another sensor, like a motion detector sensor, just to see how it all comes to life. So thanks to Walkway here, we have a motion sensor. This is how it looks like in real life actually. So let's connect it. As I said before, don't you worry about the connections. Okay, don't worry about them. So this is signal pin. Okay, so if it detects motion, it's going to send a signal to the Arduino. All right, then you remember it's still an input because it's sending signal to the Arduino. So we do, it's on, the signal is connected to pin 2. Okay, and because it's a digital device, it can be digital or analog, but let's use it as a digital device. To either 1 or 0, we do digital read, and we read from pin 2. All right, okay, let's do that. So let's do an if statement like the first one. Okay, so I told you, don't worry about the if signal is equals to 1. Let's print out motion detected. Okay, all right. Oh yeah, there's an error. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting the semicolons. Please don't forget the semicolons. All right, that's it. So with Woku you can simulate motion. If you do that, you see it's printing out motion detector. All right, yeah, so that's how it works. So it's a simple experiment, but we'll go through all these sensors later on in the future. All right guys, thank you for watching. Any comments, questions and concerns, you can leave them down in the comment section below. So see you guys in the next one. Thank you.